Welcome to my channel. Today I'm just starting with a new chapter, and the title of this chapter is Challenging the Caste System. That is in India, basically, we are speaking about. The caste system, in fact, in our previous chapter, we have already discussed that a different group of people, in fact, came out, and then how they have actually worked hard to make this a caste system to be normalized or to keep in balance in the society, because through this caste system, different groups of people actually suffered a lot, and due to that, in many of the community, in fact, gave up the religion which they were actually belong to. And we have seen that this is a kind of like a social evil they have considered. So today, for example, we will be talking about that how this caste system in fact actually made a kind of challenge, or a kind of challenge for the rest of the people, rest of the communities. So here you will be coming to know about the different the points which is related with this topic. So before we discuss, or before we elaborate this particular chapter, here let us know about the some of the basic points which is related with this chapter. So number one is about the factors leading to caste movements in the 19th century. So here basically we will be talking about the 19th century, and during this 19th century, in fact, the caste system actually made a big role, or a caste system actually created a kind of like hindrance for many of our Indians at that time. So second point we will be having about the caste movements in the British India. Caste movement, in fact, the British also actually tried their level best to make this things to be removed, and many of the Britishers, in fact, given the suggestion to be a better society, not to use this caste rigidity. So anyway, again, the last point we have got in this study is about the British policy of divide and rule. British policy of divide and rule. So let us know now about the previous chapters what we actually discussed. Now, in our previous chapters, we have already learned that how actually the reformers of the 19th century, in fact, worked hard, and they took part in the religious debates. They and especially the educated Indians, in fact, have taken part in the religious debates, and then they have studied many of the things. They found out many of the clues, evidences from the different religious texts, and then made people understand that whatever the Brahmanas or Brahmins are actually speaking, or maybe stating or quoting from the religious texts, these are actually not part of and partial of the religious texts. In fact, they are actually making up, and then it has got no value, in fact. So a lot of debates, in fact, have taken place, and during this time, many of the people, in fact, face a different like a problem. Sometimes there was some kind of like a fight against each other, and many of the reformers of that time, in fact, even got beaten also. So this is also we can find them. So therefore, these are the social evils that was actually existed in the 19th century. It was not possible if this both the forces could have combined and then worked. So today, for example, Britishers also played a great role on this time, on this area. So we can find, and also there is also a big contribution to the missionaries who came from the different parts of this world, and then they also worked towards this caste system, and also they open up the schools. They gave the right to the women, right to the girls, and how this women and girls, for example, got the opportunity to become someone in the respected or dignified members in the society. So we can understand. So therefore, basically in the 19th century, we have got here that mostly was focused on the issues of like women's emancipation, and another social evil they battled, that is against the caste system, which was very much like a kind of like inherent in the society. So that is about that. And this caste system, in fact, have begun because of the Varna system that was existed in the Aryans, or of the Aryans. Okay, so caste system evolved from the Varna system of the Aryans. So it means Aryans have brought this caste system, and Many of us in fact are saying that the caste systems, those who have brought, especially Aryans who came from the other part of the world, not from India, in fact they are not from the India, but when they came to India, they invaded, they suppressed, and they imposed their rules and regulations, and then created a different god and goddesses, idols, all these things and all they started practicing in India. And you know, those who are from the originally India, those who are like tribals or many other original people of this Adivasis of this India, they were actually made slave because of this Aryans invasion. So therefore we have to understand that how this Aryans in fact actually created the havoc for the rest of the this members of our India. Now in the Rig Vedic age, they themselves actually creating so many religious books and all. So during the Rig Vedic age, the Aryan society was actually divided into 4 groups. Okay, 4 groups in the sense the 4 castes. And here you can find that Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. So these are the 4 groups of people in fact actually created. However, this system was actually flexible. People could change their occupation and thus their varna, and the membership was not hereditary. Now you must understand, suppose you are divided into that, and I suppose you will be forced to work according to your varna system, and you are capable of doing the other job. For example, suppose you are sweeping, you are sweeper or you are cobbler, you also can do the racing, you also could do the battling. So why this profession, according to the profession, the varna is not changed? It means the Aryans or the Brahmanas in fact actually tried their level best. It means all these Aryans in fact we can call that they are the Brahmanas. Okay, they are the Brahmanas, not the all the people of this Aryans are actually divided into 4 varnas. We don't think so, because here they made the varna system, they consider themselves to the highest caste. It means the Brahmanas are the Aryans, and these Brahmanas in fact when they came to India, they made the other people slave. So that is the thing. And who were slave, that is originally from India. Okay, so therefore we can find that these people have got no other like a choice. Rather, these Brahmanas were actually dominating on them and punishing them and not allowing them to do. It may say, if the Brahmanas could have been from originally from India, they could have not suppressed any of the people of this country. They could have been mingled, because we can see the clue, we can see the evidences from the tribal society. In tribal society or in the Adivasi community, in the community, in fact, we have not seen there is a men and women have got some differences. It may say there is a prevailing equality. We don't see inequalities there, because in the tribal society or in the Adivasi community, we can see that the community is running with a one chief only, and that particular chief is in fact supporting and helping every bit of things and all properly. But you can see that in this caste system, the Brahmanas actually consider themselves the highest caste, and he is the supreme, and he is the lawmaker. So how a Brahmana, being an Indian, can suppress the others? So that actually have the big questions. So therefore we have to be careful when someone, especially like some of the politicians who are also part of the Brahmanas, so they are actually speaking that our real religion is a Hindu, and the rest of the people should be thrown out, the rest of the people should be slave, and they should be under us. Some sort of things are actually spoken. So we have to be really careful on that. So however, we have to go through the history properly. And today, for example, whatever the history is we are reading, in fact, these are the actually fake history, in fact. Fake history. For example, the independence that we got, this is not our independence, in fact. It is the Brahmana who actually wanted to ruling party in India. That's why they sent away the Britishers. So we didn't get the independence from the Britishers, but we are still slave. Today, for example, most of the rules and regulations actually remain by these Britishers who actually brought in India. Those rules and regulations are still existing in India, And now for example, our high caste people who are ministers and MLAs and everywhere they are occupying. So in most of the high places or the high authority positions are actually taken by the Brahmanas, in fact, by themselves. So where is the freedom, in fact? And the rest of the people are actually suffering. So we have got no freedom, but it is the fake freedom, in fact, we got in 1947 on 15 August. It is the freedom, freedom is what? Brahmanas were actually freed from here. Brahmanas are actually freed from Britishers, not our Adivasis and tribals, because the Adivasis and tribals were still deprived of their opportunities. They are the original people, but these Brahmanas are actually foreigners. When we have seen some of the people are speaking that if these Brahmanas will be going for the DNA test, then they will be not considered as a original from India. And according to some of the information what we have heard, that is Brahmanas' wives are actually not same caste. They are also not the same caste. In fact, they came from their own somewhere in the Eurasia, somewhere in the Veld, okay, and they actually came and they settled here, and they got married our Indian people. They mingled, and that is the thing. So DNA, if we go for the DNA test, most of the Brahmanas will be found that they belong to the foreign. They are not from originally India. So that is we have to understand. Therefore, today, for example, when we talk about the challenging the caste system, this is one of the challenge where you have to really see how this other group of people, in fact, dominating in India, in spite of getting the freedom from the Britishers. Britishers, in fact, they are just they also came for the ruling. They also came for ruling. They also ruled. They also looted. They also took away a lot of wealth, lot of resources from India. Okay. So one of the things we have to understand that many of our historians, in fact, they belong to that caste also. That's why they have never written about the Brahmanas quite elaborate way here. So when you see that the history is not written properly, and those historians perhaps they belong to the same caste like a Brahmanas, so how you will get the proper history about our India? So that's why what we have seen between these Brahmanas and the common people, there is a difference they are creating. Always they are creating the difference. But suppose they belong to our India, then they should have been together. They should have been worked together. They should have been worked together. But why? Their mentality is a kind of like a dominating on others. So that is the thing we have to be careful. That is the thing. And that is the actually, the tricks the Brahmanas in fact putting. So therefore, through this chapter, we will have to understand about these people. So now you have to understand that on the basis of the professions, you can change your professions and you can go for that. Then why the Varna is not changed? Now they will consider you Dalits, but you are capable of running the country even if you are educating yourself. But the Brahmanas will say that you are low caste, so your job is sweeping and making the work. It may say the peasants and the farmers actually the slave of the Brahmanas. It means you cultivate, you harvest, and then you hand over to the Brahmanas for eating. That is the mentality they have. So anyway, we have to really careful of our history studies. Whenever you study the history, the original history study is not found right now. All these histories are written, edited, and deleted. So many topics were deleted. That's why you won't find here the Brahmanas about. How much is there about Brahmanas here? Nothing is there much. How much information? So hardly little bit you get. Forecast. They are writing forecast. Apart from what the Brahmanas have done to our Indians, that is not written here. So how could you believe? Hmm? So anyway, so that is the challenging of the caste system in India. Then you can find that a fight against caste system. Okay, here in the 19th century, an effort was actually made by the many of the reformers to modernize the country like India. Why they want to modernize? Because these educated Indians, in fact, they found that this particular caste system, in fact, a kind of like hindrance, and a country will never move ahead. Country will never progress till we possess this kind of like a mentality. So therefore, some of the educated Indians, in fact, they have seen the how they say abroad, how they say other part of the world, in fact, developing. People are becoming intelligent, and then they are focusing on the development of their country. Here we are busy with caste and rigidity and profession and all these matters actually. So that's why you can find. So here many of these reformers were actually influenced by the ideas of equality, liberty, and work towards removing the evils like a caste and untouchability. So many of them actually started working. So at this time, you can see that many of the reformers actually in the 19th century identified caste system as a form of like a inequality. So as long as this caste system will be there, you can't work, because this particular system will be creating the hindrance for you, a kind of like a prevention, a kind of like a blockage for you for moving ahead. So therefore, here it was creating the hindrance to the nation. So they fought for the eradication of casteism, and here we can find Rajaram Mohan Roy translated an old Buddhist text which criticized the caste system. Now we have seen that in Buddhism there is a caste system doesn't exist. In Buddhism, the Buddha in fact is considering everyone as equal, is equal. It means equality is prevailing there, and a killing of the animals, killing of the all this any of the life existing things, he totally opposed. Okay, so you can find it. And here many leaders of the Brahma Samaj, such as like Tara Chand Chakravarti and Keshav Chandra Sen, were actually fierce critics of the caste system. Okay, and then you can also find some of the other person like Ramakrishna and his disciple Swami Vivekananda. Okay, strongly condemned the caste system and untouchability. Then also you have the Vidyasagar, when he became principal of the Sanskrit college. What he did, he included, or he rather admitted not only the Brahmanas students, but also he opened the doors for the whole sort of caste that was actually existed at that time. So that is we can find. So in 1840, the Paramahansa Mandali was also founded at Bombay to work towards the abolition of the caste system, and the Pratna Samaj in Maharashtra reiterated the tradition of bhakti and propagated the spiritual equality of all castes. Then again you can find Mahadev Govind Ranade, an eminent social reformer, one of the founder member of Purna Sarvajanik Sabha. Okay, advocated intercaste dining and intercaste marriage even. So he propagated. Then his close associate Ramakrishna Gopal Bhandarkar, who was also one of the founding members of the Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, worked for the removal of the caste barriers, child marriage, and advocated the cause of women's education. So these reformers, in fact, these reform actually movements actually created awareness among so-called lower caste, and many of the lower caste people who were not able to come up, they actually became aware about it, and then they started work together. And here you can also find the Christian missionaries played an important role in a battle against the caste system, and so they set up many schools in areas which with a large tribal and so-called lower caste population. Today, for example, in Northeast India, when we talk about Northeast India, most of the Northeast Indias were actually occupied by the missionaries, and then they open up the schools, colleges, and then many people educated there, and all these caste barriers, caste systems and all, they try to remove, made people aware about it. Okay, what is the actually evil of the society? They made aware about many people. So that's why. So the missionary schools equip them to understand life in the changing world. Okay, And then the colonial period in India saw the emergence of many new cities that offered new forms of job opportunities to cheap labor for jobs like coolies, diggers, carriers, bricklayers, sewage cleaners, sweepers, palanquin bearers, and other rickshaw pullers. Often the poor and the so-called lower caste found a way to escape caste oppression by emancipating, okay, to the cities and taking up these kind of jobs. And many of them were actually employed as a plantation laborers too, and they were sent to Assam, and then Mauritius, then Trinidad, and Indonesia. So this is the thing we can find. So the life as a plantation worker was not easy, but it presented an opportunity to escape the exploitation by the upper caste. So you can see that how this upper caste people were actually exploiting the others. So in order to escape from here, they have to go far away and engage themselves in the different activities. Okay. So in my next class, in my next video, I will talk about the organized caste movements and all, and followed by British government and the caste systems. Okay. Thank you.